we have Mr. Sampath Raman. He is the chairman of Karnataka Board of AIMO and also CMD of uh, uh,
DPK Engineers Private Limited.
DPK Engineers Private Limited. So, before I invite Dr. Kumar to take the discussions forward, let me walk you through very briefly on the profiles of the organizers. The session is organized jointly by Power 2 SME and AIMO. Power 2 SME, it was established in year 2012 by our founder and CEO, Mr. R. Narayan. He came up with a very innovative business model which eliminated the intermediaries from the supply of commonly used raw materials from the big manufacturers to the MSME manufacturers. And he did that on a demand aggregation model. Thus, we were able to transfer the pricing benefits to the MSME manufacturers. This is the entire Power 2 SME ecosystem. As I mentioned, Power 2 SME deals in the raw material procurement and sourcing business. Our branch Finance Me, it facilitates loans through our empaneled financial partners in a very seamless and time-bound manner. Our vertical SME shops is the India's biggest B2B portal for industrial and MRO goods. Both MSMEs and corporates can buy and sell their MRO products over SME shops. And we also have our NBFC by the name BizFunds, which is a which provides very innovative solutions in raw material purchase financing. These are the key product categories that Power 2 SME deals in: steel, polymer, paints, yarn, chemicals, to name a few. The major industrial verticals that we cater to includes auto components, electronics, engineering. Infrastructure is coming up very fast, and there are several others. These are the core competencies of Power 2 SME as a preferred business partner. The entire model exercise is online, so there is a quite good transparency in the business conduct. We are an invested company. Some of the most reputed venture funds of the country have invested in us: Inventors, Kalari, Excel. Nandan Nilekani is one of our strategic investors. We are also funded by World Bank through its financial arm, International Finance Corporation. These are the few awards and accolades we have won over our inception, since our inception. And this is our social media presence. And regarding our co-partner for this event, AIMO is All India Manufacturers Organization, is a 78-year-old organization. AIMO has zonal and state bodies and is focused on raising issues faced by MSMEs and startups across the country. The purpose of AIMO is to encourage dialogue and partnership among various stakeholders of the MSME ecosystem for promoting innovation and knowledge sharing on MSME related issues. AIMO also aims to bridge the last mile connectivity between the government and the MSMEs towards the implementation of numerous schemes. So, in short, AIMO is the mature, respected, and discerning voice of MSMEs across the country. And if during the course of the discussion, any participant has any questions or queries to be raised to these speakers, kindly submit your questions in the chat box. These questions will be taken up to the session chair, Dr. Kumar, in the Q&A session. And with these words, I now invite Dr. Kumar to kindly take the session forward. Over to you, Dr. Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Zubair. Am I audible and visible both?
Yes, sir, very much.
Okay, thank you. In fact, we have a very important discussion, in fact, to make. The recent initiatives of the Government of India to incentivize manufacturing in India towards the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and special reference to the PLI scheme, the Production Linked Incentive Scheme. Well, a lot of people have still not understood, in fact, what is this Production Linked Incentive Scheme and what is the purpose of this, what are the objectives of this scheme, and how is it going to help the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Self-Reliant India campaign. Well, we have a very eminent expert today, in fact, to have his views and the practical experience. Also, Mr. Sampath Raman Srinivas Iyengar, who is a industrialist by himself and has long experience, an entrepreneur for the last 36 years. Welcome, Mr. Sampath Raman. In fact, he is also the president of AIMO, All India Manufacturers Organization, Karnataka Board, and CMD of the DPK Engineers Private Limited. So we'll come to Mr. Sampath Raman little later. Let me briefly, in fact, highlight some of the issues that we are going to deliberate today. The Government of India, of course, as we all know, has been very, very keen on making the manufacturing and particularly the MSME self-reliant in India. Country has been importing a lot of products, more than 3,000 products from various countries, and most prominently from China and other neighboring countries like Philippines, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Bangladesh, and all those people. While we have surplus trade balance with some of the countries, but majority of the countries, more particularly China, from where we had bulk of the imports, and other European and American countries, we have negative balance of trade. And in spite of various efforts, the Make in India campaign and the Government of India planned to increase the manufacturing sector output from 16% to 25% by 2025. But the output contribution of the manufacturing sector to the GDP has remained still constant at 16-17%. So naturally, there is something which needs to be done, which can help boost up the manufacturing in India. Now, this PLI scheme, Production Linked Incentive Scheme, is a step in that direction. While the government has taken various other measures also, we will come to the PLI scheme little later. But before that, let us understand that it is not the only scheme which the Government of India has introduced. There are various other measures which the government has done to attract foreign investment in the manufacturing in India, to promote, in fact, shifting of manufacturing bases from China and other countries to India by offering incentives, and also by providing incentives to Indian businessmen industries also to set up additional investments, to make additional investments, and promote more industrialization in the country. Now, some of the measures which the government has taken other than the PLI are like reduction in the corporate tax rate, which is a very, very important initiative. I think we have forgotten a bit, but bringing down the corporate tax rate to 25% for MSMEs with turnover, all enterprises with turnover up to 400 crore was the first step which was taken. Initially, it was 250 crore turnover, and then it was raised to 400 crore turnover. So all new projects which are being set up, all new projects and the projects which have been set up with turnover up to 400 crore, the tax rate was reduced. Then the further reduction happened during middle of the year when the Government of India reduced the corporate tax to 15% for new projects, 15%. I mean, if you add surcharges and all that, it comes to almost 17.5%, which is very competitive and lowest in many other countries. So that is one initiative which the Government of India did. The other initiative that the government did was working out and helping the reduction in the logistics cost. Because in India, the logistics cost is very high. And it works out to almost 13-14% because of the difficult transportation issues and infrastructural bottlenecks. So that is one area where our industry has to be competitive. And in that direction, the efforts are being made to increase the highways and, building capacities of the other infrastructural facilities. Third thing is, excuse me. The third thing is reduction in the cost of funds. Cost of funds reduction is very important. Otherwise, if you compare with the international cost of funds, it makes a lot of difference. If we are, borrowing at 9, 10, 11, 12%, and internationally, other companies who are our competitors are borrowing at 2, 3, 4%. So while the country has gone into reducing the rate of interest, but a lot more still needs to be done. I know that the interest rates have come down to 8, 9, 10%, but still MSMEs particularly are still not able to access funds at these rates. It's only very high rated companies, whether they are large or micro or small, are able to access funds at 8, 9%. While housing loan is available at 7.5%, the industrial finance, the business loan is still available at 10, 11, 12%. So that is one area, but the government has taken initiatives, and RBI also has in fact introduced lines of credit for reduced funding to the industry and MSME sector. Another area I would like to mention is the labor reforms. These reforms have been pending for a long time, and some action has been taken by the government, although it may not meet full expectations of the industry, but at least some measures have been taken, and the old labor laws have been codified into 4 major codes now, and the redundant provisions in those old acts have been removed. At least now you have the flexibility of hiring people, and then if you don't need, if you don't need them at times, you can also like dispense with those unwanted ones. So contract labor and all these things, provisions have been introduced, which was the demand of the industry, because otherwise the labor laws were very, very stringent and very strict. If you hire a person, you can't remove them. Then the government procurement preference policy and the government procurement policy also has been, in fact, improved to give access to the MSMEs, particularly in the country, by procuring 25% of their entire purchases from the MSME sector. So that is one initiative which really has given some boost to the production of the MSMEs. But then, it will also benefit any other company which is set up in India, and MSMEs can become ancillaries and subcontractors also to the large companies, even if large companies are being established in the country. Skilling is another initiative which the government has taken by setting up various organizations, the skill development councils, National Skill Development Corporation, and through state governments also a lot of funding is being provided so that a large number of population can be skilled. The purpose is to improve the productivity and efficiency of the manufacturing, and this will in turn result in the reduced cost. The purpose is to reduce the cost, improve the quality, and become globally competitive. That is what Atmanirbhar Bharat is all about. You enhance your exports, you reduce your imports, do the import substitution, and save the foreign currency. This is basically the crux of the import, this Atmanirbhar Bharat and self-reliant India. Now, coming to the production linked incentive scheme, this is one of the very, very flagship program of the government of India to boost manufacturing. Excuse me, can I come back? Yes, sorry, in fact, there was some disturbance happening outside. So production linked incentive scheme is a great initiative of the government of India, and there 13 sectors have been identified which have great potential for manufacturing growth. Now here the objective is to give boost to these 13 sectors, and these sectors are basically, I would read out for the benefit of you all. These sectors are mobile and specific electronic components, critical key starting materials and drug intermediaries, and active pharmaceutical ingredients, medical devices, advanced chemistry cell batteries, electronic and technology products, automobile and auto components, pharmaceutical drugs, telecom and networking products, textile products, food products, high efficiency solar photovoltaic modules, white goods, and specialty steel. So separate allocations have been made for these 13 sectors. whereby a cash subsidy, financial subsidy will be provided at a different rate of 4 to 6%, and it can be even higher also, for the incremental manufacturing done after the financial year 2019-20, that is starting from 2021. There were 3 sectors which were identified for the year 2021, which were notified last year in April itself. That was pharma sector and electronic sector and special components. Then 10 more sectors have been added in this year. The budget made a provision, the budget of 2021-22 made a provision, total provision of close to 2 lakh crore, 1.97 lakh crore for different sectors. And the procedures have been set in place by certain, in respect of certain sectors by the respective ministries. These are the respective ministries, in fact, who are managing those sectors have to put in place the detailed procedures. So some of them have put in place, like Ministry of Electronics, MeitY has been made the project implementing agency, and they had already notified the guidelines. Similarly, other ministries like Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Ministry of Textiles, Ministry of Pharmaceuticals, all these ministries have to issue their guidelines, in fact, inviting applications for participation in the incentive scheme. See, these incentive schemes are not open-ended. The people have to apply, and the benchmark criteria basically is 2. One is additional investment in the manufacturing, additional capital investment, which could be minimum 10 crore and up to 100 crore or even more for large enterprises. That is one benchmark. And another is the incremental turnover. So both these criteria will be applied for identifying and selecting the eligible enterprises, business enterprises, who would be provided this additional support of 4 to 6%, and it could be fixed by even differently by the ministry also. So this is the by and large contours of this PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme. So if any of you is interested, you have to look at the ministry's website and look at the guidelines of that particular sector, and then make an application. Unless you apply under that scheme within the window given, time frame given, it is not open-ended like you can apply anytime. They give a 3 to 4 months time that up to this date, those who apply will be considered by the evaluation committee. First is screening committee, then there is a technical evaluation committee, and then there is an empowered committee which will finalize and select the beneficiaries. So these are the broad guidelines of the production linked incentive scheme, which is a very, very important scheme, in fact, to give a boost to the Indian manufacturing. And it is expected that huge amount of, I was reading, in fact, the press note given by the ministry, they said that it will add to close to 520 billion US dollar worth of incremental production, 520 billion US dollars worth of incremental additional production in the next 5 years. So that is the kind of impact which this production linked incentive scheme is going to make over the next 5 years. And surely it is a very interesting and very attractive provision for increasing the manufacturing base in India. So having set these discussion points, I think now it's time to invite our expert speaker, Mr. Iyengar. As I introduced him earlier, he is the chairman of IMO Karnataka board and also a industrialist by himself. He is the CMD of DPK Engineers Private Limited. So also the chairman of ASSOCHAM Karnataka Council, and he is actively involved with other bodies like Karnataka Genset Manufacturers Association, FKCCI, Vision Group, IICCI, and also senior leadership in the senior leadership capacity. So over to you, Mr. Iyengar. I think we would like to listen to you and hear your expert views as an industrialist, as a possible recipient of this production linked incentive scheme. And how do you feel that these measures of the government which the government has taken recently, some of them I mentioned, are going to help the self-reliant India in manufacturing. So over to you, Mr. Sampath Raman.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, Dr. Kumar. Ladies and gentlemen, see, I must thank Power to SME and AMO, particularly my colleague, Mr. Raman Kenny, who introduced me to this forum. See, it's a very happy thing to share. One of the schemes of the prized scheme of Government of India. See, Dr. Kumar has explained to all of us the nitty-gritty of the program. And I shall refrain from repeating any of it. But I wish to say this much to the MSMEs. See, Modi government has brought several excellent schemes under Atmanirbhar. In fact, a bold 20 lakh crore program has been announced, which is something like, say, 25% of the GDP being used to kindle the economy and bring it to shape after this COVID. But in every scheme that is announced, we ask the question, what is in it for MSME? Yes, MSMEs are next to agriculture, one of the largest employers. MSMEs contribute almost 40% to the export of the country. They have a key role to play. They are the vital backbone of industry. See, but this scheme, the objective of this scheme has to be clearly understood. The single most important objective of this scheme is to restore India's economic might through the goal of making in India. The manufacturing, making India the manufacturing hub for the whole world, also for its own requirement. Today we find, as Dr. Kumar very clearly explained, even things like clips, toys, say the toiletries, patake, all are imported from China. Should we import them? Now, even many agricultural products, many textile products, they come from China. These two areas have been included in the 13 sectors. MSMEs in these sectors can avail of it. The next important thing is curtail the imports. Ensure that investments flows into India by foreign investors and the goods are manufactured in India. Make exports competitive. Encourage manufacturing within the country by our own people. These are the objectives of the scheme. Now, are MSMEs allowed to participate in it? If a question is asked, yes. Maybe what Dr. Kumar has not explained is micro may not get covered because the minimum investment, incremental investment that is sought is 10 crores. I don't know whether micro will be able to do it. So save that, small, medium, and large can certainly participate. This is a scheme which is specifically tailored for making in India everything that has been imported, making India self-sufficient, making India get investment into sector, designated sector for manufacturing within the country, for its own consumption and for export. So this is everywhere we cannot go and ask, put it for MSME. I think that is the wrong stand. See, any interested industry can take this opportunity and within the parameters of incremental investment, incremental production, avail of the benefits, become more competitive, and export the goods. Initially, some 5 sectors were introduced. Later on, 8 sectors have been added. MSMEs can directly participate or be contract manufacturers to big industries, because when it is getting labor intensive, the tendency of the large industry is to subcontract or get it from contract manufacturers, simply nameplate it and export. So MSMEs can act both ways. On their own, in niche products, they can participate in this PLI program, the products which are their specialties, and as contract manufacturers, they can make use of this scheme. See, this was so nicely explained by Honorable PM Modi in a statement on 5th March. I'll just read it out for your benefit. We have the talent everywhere in handicrafts. From the MSMEs, we can make them export-oriented. He said this while addressing on PLI scheme organized by the Department of Industry and International Trade and Niti Aayog through a webinar. I quoted this very specifically for one reason. It clearly means, coming from the mouth of the Honorable PM, that we can expand this PLI program for other products like handicrafts as well. Employment committee, so many things are there, and they will take 3 months more. That means an MSME has to wait for, or any industry has to wait for 5 months. This time has to be reduced. And another thing is that going faceless, we really don't know what is happening. There should be at least a telephonic channel available to clarify how people can quickly enroll themselves and benefit in the scheme. This is my humble suggestion.
Very well said, Mr. Sampath Raman. Very well said. I think I couldn't have agreed more than what you said. The procedures, in fact, are the ones which are scary, in fact, for a lot of people. Now, many of the people are not, they don't even participate because of the long procedures in which they have to indulge. Many people leave the interest. Now, here also, in this scheme also, there is so much of lengthy procedure. First of all, there is a window that up to such date you have to apply. Then there is a shortlisting committee. Then there is a technical evaluation committee. Then there is an empowered committee. And you see, for giving 4 to 6%, incremental subsidy, there is an empowered committee of all senior government officials, secretaries, and a high-level committee, as if some big decision is being taken. This is only providing subsidy to the eligible companies, which could have been done by the ministry itself.
Yeah.
A small committee in the ministry, which is the controlling ministry of that sector, could have easily done it. Or for that matter, the project implementing agency, which has been appointed to implement this PLI scheme for that particular sector, can be empowered, in fact, to decide, to shortlist and then maybe have interaction and decide. And second thing is, as you rightly mentioned, that why a very small window up to such and such date that if you apply, you will be eligible. Otherwise, after that, after all, companies take long time in making investments. It is not that today you decide and within 3 months you will have all the investment done and you will be able to produce all the documents and all the evidence that you have done the investment. It takes 6 months to 1 year even to get the plant and machinery and install.
Absolutely.
How can you say that within 3 months, 4 months, this window and that is the last date, and those who apply within that last date will be eligible? It means those who had already done the investment earlier, even prior to the opening of the scheme, would be eligible, and those who think of availing this scheme now and decide to make investments will not be eligible because they can't make investments up to that date. So these are the procedural difficulties which needs to be softened so that the scheme becomes really relevant and implementable and easy for the people to apply. Although the scheme is very good, the intention is
Exactly.
absolutely excellent, but it should not get marred in the procedural, like hammer.
And then enlarging the list.
Yes, and enlarging the list. That is another, because there are many sectors, like you mentioned toys. Now,
All
toys,
physical indications.
yeah, and there are so many sectors where we are still dependent on imports. For furniture, you see, even for people like tapestry and furniture, people are importing. A lot of them is getting imported. Even tools and daily use products, home-based products are getting imported. So even if the budget allocation is smaller, at least people can be sensitized that these are the items which need to be, substituted from the imports. So that will spur the internal manufacturing infrastructure. I think we have deliberated quite a lot. In case you have to add something, Mr. Iyengar, you are welcome. Otherwise, we'll open the questions.
Sir, this only thing I re-emphasize, we are importing so many things which are very, very ordinary, like as I told you, clips, ordinary clips, electrical switches, we are importing from China.
Yeah.
All these have to end. They also form a substantial import bill. So these items have to be necessarily included in PLI so that we get rid of the imports for such items. So I would request you to.
Yes, this also can be included. So whenever we meet the government and provide these inputs to them about the sectors, we will get these sectors also included.
Thank you.
I'm done. Valuable suggestion. Thank you. I think we need to open up the questions now. I think there are a lot of interactions, probably a lot of issues which have been raised. So Damini and Zumair, over to you. In case you have questions, please come.
Good afternoon, sir. It's been a very vibrant session today, and we have lots of questions for you. The first one is from Mr. Dheeraj Jain, who says, any idea by when the Ministry of Food will announce the PLI scheme?
Well, I would say that these ministries are working out, in fact, guidelines, and they don't inform, in fact, when this is going to be. But I am hoping that maybe another 1 month, not more than that, guidelines will be opened up by all the ministries, because we were waiting for passage of the budget. Now the budget has been cleared, and once the budget allocations are advised to the government, to the ministries, it is only then the ministries will be able to draw the, notify the guidelines, although they may be working on that. So hopefully we expect that within a month or so, the guidelines should be out.
A query has come in. There are manufacturers of metal cutting tools supplying to automotive industry, auto component manufacturers, and they want to know how they can apply for this scheme.
See, it is very simple, in fact, to understand. If your main mother sector is covered, then all those downstream, suppliers would automatically get benefited, because your, parent sector, if they are sourcing the material from other sub-suppliers, ancillaries, naturally their pricing also will get improved. They cannot directly participate, but they have to participate through their main, suppliers to whom they are supplying. Or otherwise, the alternative is that you make investment of 10 crore minimum if you have the capacity, and then become eligible to directly participate in that.
So, sir, that is what he said in addition. He says if the investment is minimum 10 crores, then it will be no help for small companies who eventually have the potential to become bigger companies, but may not have such deep pockets.
Absolutely.
Currently.
That is a fact, because that is the part of the scheme. So while that is the existing scheme, we can always request the government and ask for changes, which will happen over a period of time. But as of now, this is the, scheme.
So, sir, next is from Mr. Jairaj. He wants to share some of his concerns as DG for a members body in ESDM sector, and to be considered for the government procurement policy. He says it calls for some specific turnover or past history, some international certification, payment terms, which all block MSME industry to participate. He says the PLI schemes of incentive, they're targeted for very large volume-based manufacturing companies. Only in recent telecom product PLI, there is provision for MSME, but there are hardly any MSMEs present in this very high technology sector. We need to have special schemes for MSMEs in electronics. His second point, sir, he says disability in component or raw material procurement. There is at least 12% disability what MSME faced in importing electronic component compared to companies in China due to non-availability of local component ecosystem, high finance cost, higher logistic cost, higher inventory carrying cost. And he says the government should consider the following for the MSME sector. The MNC and large manufacturers must source accessories, that is chargers, earphones, Bluetooth accessories from domestic manufacturers instead of imports. And these accessories must be given OEM status, which should be mandatory to promote Atmanirbhar Bharat. He says RFP for tender documents must be unbiased and written by a non-influential independent agency. Most of the MSMEs are disqualified at the technical level, and this will attract more
Yes,
bidders.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in fact, you got little internet connection was unstable and all that. But whatever I could hear, I think what he has raised are very valid points. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they are all very, very valid points. First of all, about the participation of MSMEs in the PLI scheme. He rightly mentioned that most of the MSMEs will not be able to participate and there should be a separate scheme. As of now, the scheme in fact targets only the medium, the bigger one in fact units, and very few units will be selected and provided the benefits. I was reading in fact one sector where they have shortlisted or they are going to shortlist only 30 units. So you can imagine in the entire sector, if 30 units are only provided benefits, how the MSMEs will be able to participate. So that is one area where surely the government has to really incorporate a separate provisions, in fact, to benefit the MSMEs under this scheme. I fully agree with that. We will surely, whenever the opportunity comes, we'll take up that. The suggestions given by the gentleman are very valid, and all of them will be taken up with the government. I think we have, so I mean, we have the suggestions, and if you can compile these suggestions, we can make a detailed note for the government and give it to them. And it will be very useful, in fact, to bring in MSMEs in almost all the sectors wherever the possibility exists. And the second issue regarding compulsorily, the government directing compulsorily buying from the indigenous sources, I think this is not, this may not be possible within the, framework of the WTO and also the system prevailing, because people are free to import. They have to look at the cost benefit analysis of import versus indigenous buying. So government may not be able to direct for the local buying. Government can only be prompted to take action, initiate some measures, non-tariff and tariff barriers, whereby the indigenous the imported products or components become, costlier or difficult to procure with duty or maybe some restrictions. And then the indigenous manufacturers can be, prompted to buy from the local sources. That is the possibility. Otherwise, directing by the government for procurement from the local sources may not be possible. We have surely noted down these points and we'll take up with the government.
Kumarji, can I add some point?
Yeah,
on?
Please.
See, it's like this. Non-tariff measures are the thing which is aimed at in PLI. Has been mentioned so. But this is for the average 5% they talk about. They are talking about on the incremental production only. And also with an incremental investment. Starting with 10 crores for MSMEs and starting with 100 crores for large industries. This is something which is, a little bit tall order. There could be some relaxations on this. This is one point. Another, MSMEs themselves, if they have to assert themselves, there are certain key things. I would request you to permit me to elucidate those points.
Yeah, please, please.
First thing is, MSMEs should know how to run their business,
Yeah.
how to run the business ethically, how to run the business with complying with the tax laws and the other compliance requirements. When they do that, they really become strong. Their voice comes out loud. The problem with most of us is we are not attuned ourselves in this manner. Our own fault make us weak in putting up our claims. This is one point. Another, if a transporter wants to assert himself, he has got a transport association. If there are other organizations, if the traders want to assert themselves, they got All India Traders Organization. This is a single organization across India. Do MSMEs have such a thing? It is all fragmented. They must first be ethical, know how to run the business, and we all together must have a strong association. Once we have that, then we can really assert our requirements with the government. For example, the most important requirement is, when you say I have to invest 10 crores, where from do I get the money? I may have to go to the bank. Under ECLGS scheme itself, the bank is not able to give the loan. Otherwise, this 3 lakh crores would have been exhausted long back. It is still only half done, or 60% is given so far. The 60% of the budgeted amount has been so far given to the MSMEs. Why? Because the eligibility criteria are very tough. Now, have the MSMEs brought the pandemic? No. It has fallen upon us, and a thing which has not happened in 100 years. No. Our businesses have been closed. Our livelihood has been closed. But we are saying, the government is saying you take loan. I think it is not justifiable. Supreme Court in one stroke said interest cannot be reduced. So many things are happening. Why? Because these people do not have the voice. When other countries have given compensation, we are being given loan under tough conditions. So I request all MSMEs to learn how to run an ethical business and become strong and become united. So thank you for allowing me to say this.
Yeah. No, you are welcome. I think, Sodamini, we have some more questions. Please come.
So Mr. Naresh is asking that if they invest 10 lakhs in financial year 21-22 of 10 crores, and from when can the PLI incentive start for him? And for how many years will it be valid?
Yeah, I think we have answered that.
5 years.
PLI as such is 5 years. Till 5 years, the benefit is 4 to 6% of the incentive of the, for the incremental sales after the 1st of April 2020, subject to introduction of some investment, minimum investment of 10 crore for MSMEs and 100 crore for others, up to 1,000 crore. So that is the criteria. But as we have mentioned, that MSMEs need to be taken in better criteria and the conditions. Next.
So Mr. Satyamurthy is asking, is the waste management sector, is it included under the PLI scheme?
Not as of now. It's only 13 sectors which I read. They are available. In fact, one can see in the government guidelines available in the net.
So how because it's a very important sector. So how can he go about, or how can people go about in inclusion of such sectors?
I think this is a good question. In fact, there are many other sectors. Mr. Iyengar also suggested. So we need to take up with the government, in fact, to include these sectors, because as of now, the government would say we have just started. we have taken the 13 important sectors, and the scheme is just starting. And over a period of time, maybe we will look at the implementation and then request the government to include these additional sectors also. Next.
So thank you for that, sir. We have a lot more recommendations, which I will compile and give you after the webinar, because we've received a lot of active participation from our participants today. And I will take this forward, sir, and then hopefully you can take it forward at your level.
Surely, surely. I think it has been a wonderful discussion and a very important program, PLI scheme, which can prove to be a game changer in the Indian manufacturing. Although as of now, it is applicable for bigger industry, the larger ones, the larger of MSMEs as well as the large industries, but then it will set a trend of indigenization, trend of investments in the manufacturing in these 13 sectors. And hopefully that MSMEs also will become part of the whole ecosystem. We hope that it will bring in a lot of change in the mindset of the people, that we have to really depend on the indigenous manufacturing and become Atmanirbhar. Yes, so Damini, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, today. Thank you, Mr. Sampath Raman. We are very, very happy to have you here today. A big thank you to our participants for being so engaging and active during the course of this webinar. Thank you for taking out the time to be with us here this evening. We look forward to seeing you again at the next webinar, and we encourage you to have such active discourse with us. It really helps us to understand the tone of the sector and how we can take things forward and improve matters for the sector. Thank you very much for being here today. Good evening.
Thank you, Sodamini. Thank you, Zubair. Thank you, Mr. Iyengar. Thanks a lot. Thanks all the participants. Oh, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, participants. Bye.